You might be thinking there's nothing better than confidence. Confidence enables you to do what it is that you want. And not only that, it enables you to do what you want and enjoy it at the same time. Agreed, but it's your focus on confidence that is making you not very confident. The first NLP coach I ever hired was a man who I met here in Santa Cruz by the name of Greg Brodsky. Now, most people out there won't know who he is because he wasn't a well-known NLP coach, but people who were there in the early days would probably remember him. He was responsible for actually getting people like Connie Ray Andreas to step up and do her first training, and just well-known among the early teachers and developers. And I met him because he was actually one of my insurance clients, and this was at a time whenever I had just moved to Santa Cruz and I was wondering, where is all the NLP? Because NLP started here. I meet Greg Brodsky and I started talking to him about it, and he still does coaching, and so I actually hired him as my first ever NLP coach. And he said, so what do you want help with? And I said, well, I want to be more confident. And he says, you don't need confidence, you have determination. That's the most important thing. That's more important to you than confidence. And I remember thinking, no, I know I have plenty of determination. I want some confidence. And so it took me a long time to really understand what he meant. Now, before I get into why that's so important, what both he showed me and then what I eventually learned, if you find yourself liking this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really helps. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and that bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And I have got something extra special for you. You will find it in the description right down below. If you're impatient, that's why I'm mentioning it now. I'm going to talk more about it at the end of this video, but just know it is new content and it's only being offered for a limited time. And yes, it is free. So like I said, I'll talk about this more at the end of the video. I'll tell you all about it. What is so important about confidence? Well, confidence, it really does enable us to do things that we might otherwise be afraid of. In fact, it might well enable us to do things even when we are afraid to do it. We will take more risk. We will put ourselves out there. We will try new things. We will enjoy trying those new things more because fear is not getting in our way, and fear tends to take the fun out of a lot of things unless you can set it aside and put it in its perspective. There's always going to be some amount of fear, and there's any challenge, any risk is going to have a certain element of fear, and actually that's a really good thing to be alert to these possible things that could go wrong. It's when fear prevents us from doing something that it becomes a real negative. It becomes inhibiting and limiting, and we don't want that. But confidence has a way of sort of smoothing that over. If you're confident you're going to perform well, even though you may have those fears, you do fine. You get out there and you do what it is that you want to do, and you tend to enjoy it and experience greater fulfillment when you're doing it. So overall, I would completely agree that having more confidence in your life makes life overall more fulfilling because you will do more, and in the process of doing more, you will enjoy it more when you feel confident. But you cannot go at confidence directly. And this is what too many people are trying to do. First of all, let's think about this. When you think about being confident, are you really thinking about being confident when you're being confident? And the answer is no, because then that would make you self-conscious. And when you are self-conscious, you are not confident. You are dividing yourself. You are trying to both be in your body doing your thing while you're also trying to step outside of yourself, what we call disassociation, and look back at yourself and say, well, am I doing okay? Does everybody like me? Am I saying it right? Am I doing it right? Are people responding well? Are they laughing when they're supposed to be laughing? Are they laughing at me? Are they laughing with me? So when you're constantly checking in on yourself, like, am I confident? You are bringing too much self-consciousness to you to truly be confident. When you think about things that you do and don't even really put much thought to because you do it so well, like driving a car. So many people, when they commute, they drive to work, they get to work, and if somebody said, well, how was your commute? A lot of times you have to go, let me think about that. Like I wasn't even thinking. I was just driving and probably paying attention to the radio or maybe talking on the phone. Hopefully you weren't texting. But the thing is that that is true confidence, because you're not checking in and going, am I driving well? Am I doing okay? You're not doing any of those things. So that's what true confidence is. True confidence is when you just do something, you don't really think about it. You're not self-conscious about it because you have confidence. So when I hear about people talking about doing affirmations or what are some really good affirmations that you can use, that tells me right there that they're not really going at acquiring true confidence. Affirmations are basically telling yourself over and over something you wish were true, only reinforcing that it actually is not, is basically what happens. There's always going to be a part of you that goes, okay, we know we're not multimillionaires, but there's the conscious mind is like, no, but we are. And you're looking in the mirror and you're saying you are. You're saying you're a great and worthwhile person, but you're not feeling it inside. So affirmations can actually create a greater conflict within you that wasn't even there yet. Affirmations can also give you a sense of false confidence, which is dangerous, because if you don't truly have the confidence that you know something or can do something well, like flying an airplane, like skiing a steep hill that when you don't have much practice, that can create real problems for you. And it could also endanger the lives of other people or get other people hurt. So pumping yourself up and trying to give you this sort of false sense of confidence because you lack it, this isn't going to help you either. So for a lot of people, their lack of confidence is what keeps them from even getting started doing something. And so they take this approach that they want to have confidence first. And this is really backwards. Now, it's not just affirmations. A lot of people will try anchoring. NLP has this technique called anchoring. And so people will ask me questions all the time. Well, how do I anchor more confidence? And it's like, well, there's so many better ways to do this. Like to try to just anchor a state of confidence. Again, if you can do that and you can sort of, hit your hands together, Tony Robbins does that, or, all this stuff, or you can have the other little anchors that you have just touching the back of your hand or doing like this or squeezing your arm. Sure, you can create sort of like a, increased sense of confidence. But from what I have found in myself is that it's extremely temporary. And what I've seen in other people, the same thing. They want to believe that it does more for them than it actually does, but it fades really quickly. And your inner wisdom steps in and says, whatever it is that you're trying to do, we actually don't have the experience and true certainty about this thing to actually feel confident about it. So that is your inner wisdom piping in and saying, hey, we don't know how to do this very well. So there's a reason why, you don't feel confident about something. And that's actually a good thing. There's actually an exception here. There are some people who have lots of knowledge about something, who have lots of experience in a certain area and still feel low confidence. And that's not good. There are good things that we can do in NLP and in coaching to help someone bring that confidence level up to the same standard of their knowledge or their abilities and skills. And that's really, really important to have. Aside from that, I would say that confidence is way overrated in the sense that believing that you need confidence before you do anything. That's just not true. And if that were true, then we would never learn to do anything. We'd never stick our necks out to do anything. Before you learn to walk, one of the great things about learning things when you were pre-verbal is not really being able to put the thoughts together to think of things of confidence or not confidence. You had no confidence when you were born. And in a sense, because you had no confidence, there was no way to judge yourself as to whether or not you had confidence or not to try to speak, to try to walk, to try to do a lot of these things that you learn, in the first few years of your life. And in a sense, if we could take that approach again, then we would do a lot more. But we're constantly judging ourselves and judging our confidence. And do we feel good about this? Do we not feel good about this? Do I feel secure, safe enough to do this? If we could get back to that mindset of when you were, in your first few years of life, it opens up so many different possibilities. Now, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. We can't exactly go back to that mindset when we were that young, but there are things that we can do to do what it is that we want to do and not really need confidence to do it. What creates confidence? I've kind of been hinting at it so far. Well, certainty creates confidence. When you feel certain about something, you will feel more confident about it. Now, we want this to be accurate as well. A person can feel certain that they can do something even though they've never tried it. And it may be possible. Some people can do something, but it's usually because they have practice in some sort of other area. I used to water ski a lot. and you ski on one ski. And so I was pretty confident that I could learn how to surf. Now, I didn't mean that I was confident that I could get up on a surfboard the very first time I tried it. It just meant to me, though, that I knew I could learn it. Like I was pretty sure about that. And so having had some other experience in something similar made me feel that way. That's kind of how we can sort of cross-reference to other things. But in general, we are not going to be confident about anything that we don't have lots of information about or lots of experience about. When I say information, I don't mean just like information you've read, because you can read a lot about something until you actually do it and experience it. You're not going to be good at it. You're not going to be certain about it. And this happens a lot as, you know, we're growing up and we get to this point in our lives where we think, oh, well, I can just sort of consume enough information about something without actually trying it. And if I do this long enough, then I will feel confident about it, and then I'll be able to go do that thing. And then usually that doesn't work that way. You can read 100 books on martial arts. That doesn't mean you're going to be good in martial arts. Most likely, you know, you'll be just like anyone else who hasn't even consumed that information. So most things that you're really certain about and that you're truly confident about, you don't even stop to think of whether or not you're confident about it. You are pretty confident the sun will rise tomorrow. Why? Because, well, it always has, and you don't stop to question it. You agree that it's possible it might not. But, you know, because it's been doing that for long enough, you're confident that it will. You don't even stop to think about it unless someone like me on a video poses that question. So what is it you're really certain about? Well, I mentioned before about commuting to work and driving. Well, chances are by that time you've had so many years of driving that you can just kind of go on autopilot. You don't have to think about it. Well, that only comes, though, really after years and years of driving experience. Maybe not years and years, but like at least a solid year of driving daily. You've got the way the steering wheel feels underneath your hands and how you turn it. Like that tells you everything you need to know. Your foot on the accelerator, your foot on the brake, like all that is something that you have conditioned your body to feel, to know what you see, what you hear. All of your senses have been conditioned to drive this vehicle after loads and loads of information have come in from driving so much. So you feel certain about it, therefore you feel confident about it. So then the question comes, well, how do I go and do things that I'm not confident about before I'm confident about it? You know, I'm saying you have to be able to go and do these things before you feel confident about it, but people don't want to do anything until they feel confident about it. So they're kind of caught in this catch-22. So what do we do then? Well, this is where determination and persistence really can serve you. When you're determined to do something, you have an idea in your mind of what it is you want to do, and you are determined to do it. Now, you should also reevaluate constantly as you're moving toward whatever it is that you want. But that to me is part of the determination. Like when I started learning Romanian, I've been determined to learn Romanian. And along the way, I, of course, had to reevaluate my strategy many, many times, and I've tried different things. But the end goal is to be able to speak Romanian fluently. I'm determined to do that. Do I have confidence in speaking Romanian? No, not much at all. In fact, when I last went to Romania in January, I spent the entire month there. It was probably the biggest hit to my confidence ever of speaking Romanian, because I'd been studying for that entire year. I get to Romania and I don't hardly understand anything. So confidence is way low. So if everything was judged by my confidence, I would have probably stopped. I probably would have quit. But I'm determined. So determination, knowing what it is that I want, having that as an image and as a sound, as a move, you know, more than just multiple sounds. So it's an entire movie in my mind of what I want to be able to do. I am determined, and confidence comes and goes. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. But if confidence determined for me whether or not I would do this, I would have quit a long time ago, because before I ever even tried to speak Romanian, I couldn't. So where's the confidence? It's not going to be there. I had determination. Now, the second thing is persistence. So determination is being very clear about what it is that you want. Persistence is being able to focus on it and stick with it and be consistent about it. You know, it's much better to practice something a half an hour a day than to do 3 hours once a week. Like the persistence, and what I'm kind of throwing in there too is consistency. So being persistent, holding that goal, knowing what it is that you want, and persisting and persisting and persisting, much better than confidence. But one of the great things is that when you're determined and you're using persistence to reach that determined goal, an interesting thing starts to happen. Confidence shows up. Because the more you do something, the more information you gather about something, the more certain you become about it. And with certainty, inevitably, comes confidence. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have a new treat for you. It is brand new information, a brand new free training. It's a video series, and it will only be available for a limited time. So if you're watching this video much later and that time has passed, I will put something in the description down below, but it might not be the training that I'm talking about now. But if you're watching this soon after this video has been published, go to the description below, click on that link. It is a free video series, like I said, completely new material. So I was considering just putting these videos out on my YouTube channel and just hoping that a lot of people watch it and use it, implement it, apply it, use it to change their life. But I figured, you know what, this is a little more special to me. I'm really putting a lot into this, and I'm revealing a lot of stuff that I should probably be charging for, but I'm not. But I do want serious people to watch these. I want serious people who are going to take the time to really go through the videos, especially since we're only going to be offering them for a short amount of time. They will expire. So if you're interested in this training, go ahead and check it out. It's in the link right here down below. It's really focused on looking at your life as a whole and saying, okay, what is it that I really want? And being determined and persistent, and eventually acquiring the confidence to execute on those things that you really want. So check that out, and I will look forward to hearing your responses and your feedback on that. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out, which tends to be every Wednesday and every Saturday. And last but not least, if you can think of a friend or a family member who would enjoy or benefit from this video, make sure you share it with them. Take care.